Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, both were franchise tagged this offseason, looking to then, the franchise tag, you can kind of decide to slap it on, what is it, in like May, I think. Um, and then from there, that gives the team time to renegotiate a longer term deal, with the star, right? So that's what New York was hoping to do with Saquon. That's what Vegas was hoping to do with Josh Jacobs. Neither of them reach a deal by the deadline, which was, I want to say, Monday at like 4 p.m. Eastern time. So they don't reach the deal, which means they will either play under the franchise. Like, the only contract they have available this year is the franchise tag. So they can either play under that or hold out, which, again, you still can't sign a new deal at this point. Like, the deadline is over to sign a new deal. So it's either the franchise tag or they don't play this year.
Yeah.
Um, it's a weird situation. So that's the situation with those two backs. And now a lot of other backs have spoken out. Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey a little bit was basically saying, like, wow, it's crazy that they haven't gotten paid. He hasn't been super outspoken about it, but has definitely been talking about it. My whole take on the situation, like, I see both sides of the coin, right? So let's start with, I guess, my more, like, pessimistic side of it, my more, like, critical side of it. It's a free market, right? Like, the NFL is a free market, right? You will be paid what teams are willing to pay you.
Yeah.
Just like a supermarket is, right? A supermarket can charge whatever they want, and if somebody's willing to buy it, well, then that's just what the product costs. That's
Right.
how it works, right? And that's how it works from the supplier to the grocery store, right? Coke says this pallet of Diet Coke costs X amount of dollars. And the store, the distributor, whoever's going to buy it says, okay, we are willing to pay that. That is what it's worth. You're worth what people are willing to pay you. And what determines that is the value of whatever it is, right? Like, whatever the product is, whatever the service is, that value, your value comes from what somebody's willing to pay. We talked about this with Lamar, right? Lamar said, I'm worth this, I'm worth that, I deserve this, I deserve that. No, you deserve and you're worth what somebody's going to pay you on the open market, right? So Baltimore is telling you, we don't think you're worth this. Lamar says, I think I'm worth this. Eventually they come to some sort of an agreement. Obviously that didn't happen in this case.
Time has run out. Yeah.
Yeah, but my point is, like, that's the problem with the whole running back debate. It's running backs are not as valuable as other positions in football. I'm sorry, but it's true. There are plenty of examples of teams going to find late round steals. Tyler Algier with the Falcons. Austin Eckler himself should understand that you can get value in later rounds, so you're not going to pay for somebody. He was a later round pick. Elijah Mitchell for San Francisco. Derrick Henry was a second round pick. Jonathan Taylor was a second round pick.
Yeah.
Like, you can get value deeper in the draft. So I don't understand the confusion or, like, the disagreement here with the backs in the league. Like, this has been the case for a while now. That's the reality of the situation. So that's my more critical view on the situation. But on the flip side, Austin Eckler brought up a good point where he's like, he's making less than some number 3 receivers on teams.
Which is crazy.
Now, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But again, like, this isn't a problem of, like, reshaping the league. Like, there's no collusion against running backs because that's the case. That's just the fact of the matter. A dumb team was willing to pay that much money for a number 3 receiver,
Yeah.
and there's teams that aren't willing to pay that for a running back. Sorry, but that's their decision. It's their money to do what they want. So I get his point, like, that's crazy, but that's not our problem.
No, it's not. And they can value the positions that they want to value. That's fine. But, like, we were just having this conversation today, too, earlier. You are paid based on how easy it is to replace you. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to replace a running back like a Saquon Barkley or an Austin Eckler or a Josh Jacobs. I'm not saying that.
It's easier.
But it's easier than replacing a quarterback. It's easier than replacing a number 1 receiver. The prime for a running back is very, very short, and the longevity is not really there all that often because it's such a brutal position. I mean, you're running into a line full of 300-pound grown men that are there to rip you apart. So, yeah, you're not going to last that long in the league. That's going to dock you a couple million right there.
Go look at the Super Bowl champions the last, like, 5 to 10. Which one has an elite back? Please help me. I mean, like, who? Cam Akers? Cam Akers is not an elite back for the Rams. The Chiefs have a revolving door usually, like Isaiah Pacheco, again, 7th round pick.
Yeah.
The Niners, but they, again, not elite. They find steals in the draft. They had a good run game, not in one elite back making a ton of money.
Right. And
go look at the top paid backs right now. Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. Now, granted, now McCaffrey, but when they were getting to the Super Bowl, he wasn't there.
Well, the league is such a pass heavy league now too. So like you look back in NFL history, sure, running backs, like if you didn't have a great running back, you weren't making it to the Super Bowl.
No,
because it was
you
ground
just
and pound,
don't.
running from the eye, a lot of power stuff, right? That was pretty much what football was.
Yeah.
And then they would throw off of that every now and then. Now it's such a pass centric league that I'm not saying running backs are devalued, but you don't have to have a top of the league running back to win. So if that's a position that organization can save money on and then go spend that elsewhere, maybe on a piece in the secondary, because it's a pass heavy league, you're going to need guys that defend the pass really well.
I would agree.
So go
You
spend
need
money in the
pass
secondary.
rushers. You
right.
need
You
wide
need a guy on the
receivers.
edge. You need some receivers. You need a quarterback, for God's sakes. So you need money to go around. And if that's going to be your, I guess, MO on how you're going to do things, and you're going to pay the running back a little bit less, but so you're going to restructure your roster so you can pay a couple more important positions that you feel are more important a little bit more. then
That's
fine,
their
by all means do that.
prerogative.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like that's the team's prerogative. This whole like idea that there's an agenda against running backs and that there needs to be some sort of standardization. No. That's the beauty of the league. People deal with their salary caps differently.
Yes.
If you want to go get paid a ton of money as a running back, like the trade-off is going to be you're going to have to find a dumb organization to do it.
Right.
Like you're going to like the Bears, for example. If you're a linebacker, you're probably itching to play for the Bears if money's your number one focus.
You can't wait to go to Chicago.
Exactly, right? Like, but on the flip side, like, notice how none of the smart teams are paying running backs. So if you want to go win a Super Bowl, you have to take what that team's willing to give you, which is usually lesser if you're in one of the least valuable roles.
And I am so, and like just another kind of point to this argument also. I mean, can we shut up too? I mean, like
It's
you are complaining
millions.
about making $10 million. Are you serious? Are
Like,
you serious? $10 million a year, and they're gonna stage this little hissy fit.
And I know that people are like, well, they could only play for a certain amount of years. It's like, yes, but you being an NFL player grants you a lifetime of the ability to go get another job
Yeah.
that is going to pay well.
Not even that, but they also have full pensions through the league. So once you retire,
depending on the
but
amount of time you
as
play,
long as you play,
yes.
yes. So
Yeah.
like you play, and then what? You get to sit and start some sort of clothing brand if you want to with your wife and kids, and just get paid for the rest
And
of your
even
life.
while you're playing, you can make millions on endorsements, especially
yeah.
if you're a star like Saquon Barkley.
100%.
In New York,
Yeah.
Saquon could go find 10 endorsements tomorrow.
That would all
and
be
make
worth
$10
more than
million.
his contract.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mahomes borderline makes more on endorsements. Like, I don't know. Those who get it, get it. Those who don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy.
Slightly annoying though, I would say.
I'm pretty annoyed as
I
well.
feel like it's just unneeded drama at this point. I feel like
just
somebody just
noise.
needed to say something.
Yeah.
You know, people
Yeah.
got bored.